All praises to the Most High Yahweh. I can't see the chart. I can't see. I can't see anything. Oh boy. I can't see the chart while moving. I can't see it. I don't know what's going on. It's just not working. Uh Let me let the music play, see if I can fix that. Okay. I can see the chart. My phone. I can see anything, brothers. I cannot see what people are typing and what's going on. Let me check with my phone first. Let me check it out. I can't see anything. There's nothing there. It's not moving. Okay, all right. Well, I see it on my phone though. So, but it doesn't happen. It doesn't pop up in my. It doesn't pop up in, and I'm gonna put it right here. Okay. Okay, let me just go with the test. Give me a 1. Give me a 1 if you can hear me. Give me a 1 if you can hear me and clear me and see me very well. I can see me. Everything is working, but I cannot see the chart room, the chart moving through the computer. But I can see it on my phone. All right. Thank you so much, brothers and sisters. Thank you. And I can see it and phone, but in the it's not in the computer. But nonetheless, we will move on and do the work of the Lord, and everybody can see me. Everybody good. So let us move in now, brothers. Let's give it a little moment before the people got in. So what happened in this today? And for those of you who don't know, today we were praying for holy guidance, and we were asking the Heavenly Father to teach us His law, to teach us His statute, His commitment and stuff like that. So, and He did. So, for a while now, brothers, before we move in, brothers and sisters, which one of you uh, saw the video, a letter to the Vatican? Which one of you saw that video? Okay. All right. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Okay. All right. Everybody that saw it and you understand what's happening and what the reason why we made this video is testimony, and also because the Father want us to do this. It's been coming. Yeah, the access gotta be unmolested, and you know those guys like to molested people, so they gonna, if they give you access to the library, and they will be with you trying to explain to you what things are. You don't need to be here. Just give us access and just leave us in there. We'll figure things out. If we have any question, we will call you, and then we will ask question. Why is this door is locked? Why can I reach that one up there, that big book up there? We will ask you this, but you don't have to be here and then keep asking us and stuff and try to molested us and stuff. So yeah, thank you for bringing that in. Now, beloved brothers and sisters, Jews and Gentiles alike, thank you, welcome, thank you for being here. Please click the like button. It is good to be here. Okay, so what happened for the past, I would say, for a while now, but it's been coming up on my heart heavily for a week now. And ever since I started reading this book, the Pillar of Fire, so, and I'm starting to read this, and it's becoming heavy upon me, and I'm like, okay, well, when quote unquote Moses, or aka Remeses, was over there, he was he must have wrote a bunch of other books when he thought he was Egyptian. And at the end of the book, when I'm at the end of the book, brothers, and doing a little research today, just 5 minutes ago, and I find out that this book is connected to at least 12 other books. And the Lord had blessed us so far. We have this knowledge, and with at least the 12 other books, this book is connected. They go by volume, and you cannot get the complete volume. When the Mosai put it in my spirit to reveal those other books to the people, because you know what would happen if we reveal them here. There are many people that are watching here, and then they will do their best to go over there and to uh you know cut things out. And they are quite expensive. They are quite expensive, but the Lord work His way. Everything is fine. It's a matter of weight. Okay, it's a matter of weight. So, uh, yes, beloved brothers and sisters, be very, very careful. They mix the names. There is Remeses. There's Rameses. Okay, there is another Remeses. Okay, there's two Remeses in this book, and you understand when we go further, you understand why there's two Remeses, and there's Rameses and there's Ramses. It's the confusion game they play in this book to confuse you. But once you start read it, the Holy Spirit show it. It's like, hey, that this is the Remeses Moses, this is the other Remeses, and this is Ramses, and this is Rameses. Okay, there's Rahamses and there's Rameses. It's just a bunch of confusion stuff. So it's come heavy to my heart, and every time I'm trying to sleep, and then the most it's just like I'm keep thinking like, why don't I go over there in the Vatican and then just tell them, hey, give us our books back. We need access to these 53 miles of books that you have under the Vatican. I have a book here called the Vatican Archive. It's right here. Let me see if I can it's somewhere around here. You know what? Give me a second. Let me pull this book and then show it to you. If I can find it, it's somewhere around here. All right, give me a second. Let me go ahead and get that book. So this book right here, it's called the Vatican Library and its Secret Archives. So it's by Kissinger's Legacy Reprint by Paul Maria Baumgarten. By Paula or Paul Maria Baumgarten. We had this book 6 months ago. Okay. Uh it's we had this book 6 months ago. So now in this book, brothers, those are the pictures of the libraries. This is no myth, man. This is not speculation. Okay. And page 434, left wing of the Vatican Library. Another view of the Vatican Library. Okay. Okay, we have a lot of artifacts. And this library, brothers, they don't have not only books, they have all sort of artifacts in there. Okay. They have those things in there. So this book is called the Vatican Library and its Secrets Archives. So we demand to return all those books, all those artifacts to us, all our ancestor stuff. So, and yeah, that's the reason why we had this book 6 months ago. Well, for those of you remember when I flashed it. So with all that being said, brothers, that's it's like this book is like that's like $10, you know, and things like that. So we ask them, brothers, in the name of the Most High, to return all our stuff. The best course of action for those people is to reply to us. So far, I haven't seen any reply. Yes, any reply yet. So, well, this is all up on them. Let me see, not on us. The Father will deal with them. So we have a testimony against them. Thank you, sister. So it is up to them now to want to do what they want to do. But Father put this in our soul. We give it to them. We want our stuff back. Okay. So, and in any event, well, it's three things going to happen. Either they say yes, no, or they don't reply at all. And they cannot say they didn't send it. They didn't see it. And we have over 1,000 witnesses that saw this video. Okay, so it's out of our hand. We left everything in the hand of the Most High. We let the Most High see everything. We let the Most High do everything. So again, like I said, it's not like something that I want to do. It's just something that was in my spirit. And but one sister called, and then we had two sisters that called and said yes, the Most High confirmed it in the soul. Do it, do it, and do it. And the first sister that called, and she was talking about the book, the old book that she saw and things like that. And a couple of those things, brothers, I believe the Most High is working his way, and he's about to deliver some of those books unto us. So now, whatever happened, brothers, and for the next 2 or 3 days or 2, 3 weeks or months, and we know for a fact we have 3.5 years to go, and we will do the best that we can, brothers, to study, seek the Most High face, and do His will, and stay together. So it's out of our hand. We do our part. There's nothing we can do here. We just did the part what we're supposed to do. Now, with that being said, brothers, let us keep on moving. Let us study the book of the Pillar of Fire by Joseph Holt Ingram. We are now going to study letter 20, I believe. Whoops. Give me a second. Yes, letter 20. We are going to study letter 20. And page 244 for those of you who have the books, and for those of you who have the PDF, it's in page it's letter 20. Now, brothers, in letter 20, we are going to see what's happening. Aaron, we're going to meet Aaron, okay, Moses' brother, Remeses' brother. We're going to meet him, and then we're going to hear the side of the story of his story. Before we go to there, I know some of you already read this passage and read this book. You don't have to answer the question. I want to ask the people that don't know what happened to Aaron, because Aaron, he's 3 years old, is 3 years older than Moses. So they said every male of the Hebrew child, supposed to die. Every little boy that was born, and every little boy like 3 years old and under, something like that, they shall die. So I'm not quite sure if you knew what happened to Aaron and when the whole thing was going on. I mean, they took Moses, they put it in the little ark, and then they push him up to the stream, which was pretty violent though. And Aaron, what happened to him? He was 3 years old. So we're going to see what they did and how all of those things came up, and what was Aaron's jobs. Okay, what was his jobs, what he was doing, what was all those things going on back here, things like that. So 2 years and under. So yeah, Aaron was like 3 years old. So they won't care. Those people, when they say, oh, 2 years and under, they find a little 3-year-old boy, they will kill it and say, oh, it looked like two to me. So now, brothers, let us go ahead and read what's going on here. This is letter 10, page 244, but we will start by 245. All right. This is Sesostris, brothers and sisters, the prince of Phoenicia, writing to his mother Epithia, the queen of Phoenicia, and this is what he said. And in the previous letter, he wrote about King. Anybody remember King Okoris, the Ethiopian King Okoris, and the scumbag that bought everything to Egypt and tried to fight them with his wife and slave and all the gold that he bought with him. Yeah, the feminine fellow. Yes, he bought. The most I do this, brothers. The most I do this, he made those people bought all those wealth to fight to Egypt and then lost, and those wealth are stored there when the Israelites going to get back, and then they got out with all those wealth. Okay, he had the Ethiopian swagger jacking everybody all around, and brought all that wealth into Egypt and lost all of it, and then Egypt give it all back to the Israelites. So those are those are wealth transfers. So sister said small feet, but fellow have very small hand, very small feet, wearing gazelle sandals with leopard skin and gold stuff in his hair, and then stuff like that. Anyway, let us begin at page 245. You are going to hear that a lot. Let me just one, one, two. Okay, good. Yeah. So give me a second. Give me a second, brothers. Uh-huh. I'm not quite sure why. Yeah, brother Nate, we already have that. We have it from the beginning, so I'm pretty sure most of the people have that, and we have it. A lot of us, we have this thing right here. Now, brothers and sisters, Jews and Gentiles alike, let us begin, brothers. Let us begin this. Page 245. I had rambled along some distance off the river without any vestige of rank being apparent in the plain Phoenician costume of tyrant merchant, which I often wear to prevent constant interruption by the homage and prostration of the different Egyptians. When I saw a small baris, define that word, brothers, baris, Baris, a small baris. Okay, Baris, Baris. Let me read again. I had rambled along uh, some distance up the river without any vestige of any rank beyond being apparent on the plain of Phoenicia, costume of a tyrant merchant, which are often rare to prevent constant interruption by the homage and postation of the different Egyptians. When I saw a small barris, okay, a small barris containing a single person coming close to the steps of the extensive terrace of the numerous temples of the image of Apis, which here faced the Nile, separated from only by a double row of sphinxes. So this is a sorceress. He is getting out there, and then he is going. Let me get this thing and throw it on the bed so you won't hear my voice keep talking in there. All right, so he's going for a walk, and then now, while he was working, he wore a regular tyrant merchant clothes, because when he dressed like a prince, every time he's going somewhere, people always come in and bow down to him and say, "Oh, Prince of Tyre, man, you are the Prince of Tyre, you are here," this and stuff like that, and then all that stuff, and then things like this, and all this thing. And then they will keep talking to him and posting themselves. So he wore regular merchant clothes, so he would somewhat blend it in and don't have those people keep worshiping like that. So he went there, and then he was walking, and when he looked upon the Nile, he saw a small boat, like a little canoe boat coming, like a little kayaking boat, stuff like that, small barriers. And when he saw the bears, there's one person in it coming on the line on the Nile, the river, and both side of the river, there's sphinxes, statues, and stuff. So he's coming. He saw this person coming in that small boat. It was rowed by 4 Nubian slaves. So this boat, he saw this guy, but there's 4 Nubian slaves in it, rowing it. Okay, probably like 2 on each side, rowing the boat, like rowing. They are rowing the boat, because that's how they have the Nubian slave and stuff like that. So, clad in white linen, vesteds, and fringed loincloths, each having a red cap upon his head. So, when they say red cap, brothers, they mean like hats, things like this, but they are red, which kind of like what they make them wear to differentiate them from the other slave and other people. Caste, 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 or whatever. As the boat approached the marble step, a decorated and unusually elegant galley containing 3 young men of rank, as their dress and the emblems of their mast indicate, was coming swiftly down the stream, as if the owner strove the display of the fleetness of his vessel before the eyes of the 1,000 who look on. The pilot of the lofty helm called out the barriers to move quicker away from the line of his course. But either the warriors failed to hear or to comprehend that they did not turn their heads. On like the wind came the galley. I called out to the person who sat in the stern of the barriers and who was intently engaged in reading a book, a portion of which lay on wall at his feet. So now, this dude that is in this small boat, he's reading a book, and then the 4 Nubian slaves is rowing the boat. Now there's a group of scumbag coming in a bigger boat, and then they're coming so fast, and they're rich kids. This is just like today. There are a bunch of rich kids in a fast car driving. They don't give a whoever is get the hell out of our way. So they saw this small boat coming peacefully, and then they are in a fast boat. They could have easily stopped and move over and let this fellow pass. They are coming fast, and they're about to ram the guy that was in the boat. And those guys are rowing backward. They are rowing backward, so they don't. Their back is they are facing away from the danger, and they are rowing backward. The boat is going backward, but the guy that facing forward, he's reading a book. He's reading like a giant papyrus that roll up all of his feet, so he doesn't see the boat coming. And the guy, the fourth slave, doesn't see it either because their back is turned toward the danger. And the guy that can see the danger, his head is down, he is reading. A classic case of texting and driving and things like that. And the other boat, he like, hey, am I bleeding again? No. He said, get the hell out of the way. So the guy didn't hear him. And then the speedboat are coming straight at him. And Sesostris see the big boat about to crush him. The Sesostris said, yo, watch out. And then the guy lift up his head, and then he looked. He looked up quickly and saw first me, and then by the direction of my finger, his danger. Before, however, he could give orders to his rowers, I heard one of the young men say to the pilot, who was changing his course a little, keep right on. It is but a Hebrew, and it will be a favor to the gods to drown 1,000 a day. It's no difference. It's no difference of what's going on today, brothers. That guy is coming on the boat so fast, he about to hit the small boat, and the guy didn't see him. He was reading, and the four warriors are coming. So Sesostris tell him, yo, watch out. He about to hit you. So he lift up his eyes, he looked to the person, and then he see the boat coming. And by the time he tell his four warriors, yo, change course, look around, move to the left, move to the right. And the guy that was coming on the fast boat, he said, turn to the, and then he looked, he's like, well, hey, keep going. Just kill them. He's just a Hebrew. We will do him a favor. If we could kill 1,000 a day, we will just put them out of misery. They are Hebrews. He said, God, run him over. And then out of nowhere, the fast boat hit the small boat. Boom! Crashed them, passed over them. And the guy that was in the small boat flew out of the boat, and all it was like 5 of them, 4 warriors, and the other guy, they jumped in the boat in the Nile, in the river, and then and the other boat passed. They left, hit and run. Classic ley line things here, man. Because they say, you look at the guy, say, this is a Hebrew. Hit him. Killing this guy will just give him, it will be a favor to him. So when those, I think 2 of them die or something like that, or 3 of them die. They swim. Let me just finish and read this. Oh, sorry. Man, come on. All right, but to blow needs to be hard. Touch the book of the knees, sweep past. Comes in. Okay. All right. There you go. 2 of the slave as the Passover, striking overboard. 2 of the slave as the 24s, and swept the galley on the eye. The speed I expected to see. All right. 2 of them, I believe 2 of the slaves died, though. They drowned. And then the guy that was reading the book, he swim offshore, and then he got on the shore, and then he come into Sesostris to thank him. He recovered his sitting position, maintained the wild composure, dignity, and made me marvel. So, this is this description of this dude. He's dark, handsome, handsome his dark handsome oriental faces betray scarcely any emotion at the danger of the indignity, seeing that one of the slave was swimming ashore and that the other was no more. Okay, one of them died no more. He waved his hand to the remaining two who had fallen in the bottom of the boat, and who recovered the oars, pulled him to the steps. A Hebrew, I repeated, I to myself, truly, and the very likeness of Remeses, save that his hair is a browner hue and his beard tinged with the golden light. A Hebrew, what philosophy under insult apparel? A Hebrew, what contempt of him, and his life was evidenced by the hardy Egyptian noble, a Hebrew and a priest. So they guys they swim to the shore, and he saw this fellow stand there. That guy looked exactly like Remeses. He not only he looked like him, he's except like his beard was a little bit golden, and then he was a little bit like 2 or 3 years older than Remeses. He looked exactly like Moses. He said, I thought Amram, the gardener, looked like Moses because I say Amram is Moses in 80 years. But this guy is another Moses. He was looking at him. And he like the robe that the guy wore is a priestly robe. It's like a Hebrew, a priest, and he was pretty pissed off though. He started cursing. He's like, "What the? Why? Why do? I don't know why I'm wearing this, but he was pissed off, brothers. He like, yo, because this guy is a Hebrew, you try to murder him. You could have changed course, but you run over him and try to murder him because he's a Hebrew. A Hebrew. He's a human being, but you try to kill this guy." He debarked and giving an order to the slaves, placed his scroll of papyrus beneath his robe, and ascending the steps, bow lowing, and with a singular courtesy, for the Hebrews' mother are naturally the most polished and benignant people of the world, said in the Phoenician tongues. You say what is in the Phoenician tongues? Let me just put this. There we go. That's better. Brothers, in the Phoenician tongues, it is said, for the Hebrews' mother are naturally the most polished and benignant people in the world, save the Phoenician tongue. I am indebted to you, sir merchant, for my life. Your timely voice enabled me to save myself, although I have lost one of the poor Nubian lads. Accept my gratitude. So this fellow that looked exactly like Rameses come up, swim offshore, took his roll of papyrus, put it under his arm, and then he come to Sesostris and said, I am in debt to you, man. Thank you so much. If I did not look up to you when you say the voice, I would have died. But unfortunately, we survived. I lost one of the Nubian slave. Again, brothers, the reason why he said Nubian slave, you will find out this. In Egypt, they got cast and they got slaves, then they got the Hebrews. The Nubian were slaves, but they were prisoner of wars. They were like people like they work for low wages. The Hebrews doesn't get paid at all. The Nubians were like probably the lowest employees. Below the Nubians were the Hebrews. So he said, I'm in debt to you and stuff like that. And then he shake his head and he thank him. And the guy, Sesostris, is look at him. It's like, God, why does this dude look exactly like Remeses? I could not remove my eyes from his face. It fascinated me. It seems to be Remeses himself speaking to me. Yet the hair of the prince is raven black, and his beard also, while this man is rich brown, and his fine beard like a golden river. The eyes of Remeses are black, with a mild expression naturally, as if they were animated by a gentle spirit, while those of the priest are hazel, or rather a brilliant browns, and full of the light or courage or in an ardent fire. So this dude, he looked like Remeses, but he's a little browner skin. Remeses was dark skin, dark beard, dark eyes, everything black. But this dude is brown skin, and his beard are golden, and then his eyes are hazel. But he look exactly like Remeses, and he's a priest. Yeah, so the Nubian, they weren't Israelites. They were prisoner of wars. They were in Egypt as slave, but not as not toilers, hard burden. They were like the prisoner of wars and things like that. No, it's not like he's red bone. He's just like brown. His skin. They are dark skinned men. They are like men that are black in their skin. Their faces are like brown like this, and there are some shades that are black and stuff like that. So he looked like Remeses, but a little bit like browner. In person, he's just the height of Remeses. They are the same height. Carried his head in the same imperial manner as if born to command, and the throne of his voice are marked by that rich emotional cadence, whining the ear and touching the heart, which characterize the prince. Now he said, not only this guy look like Remeses, he's the same height as Remeses. He talked the same way. His voice is the same as Remeses. They carry the same melody, the same cadence. He made a difference here, brothers. He said, when you are listening to the Egyptian women, when you are listening to the Hebrew women, it's two things. When you listen to the Egyptian women, they talk nasally and their voice grind. When you listen to the Hebrew women, it's like they're singing. Their voice are like a melodic angel. There's a some type the accent, what it means. There's some type of like a rhythm to their voice, a tonnage, a singing, like there's a melody when they speak. It's like, wow, I want to hear more of this person. The accent different from the Egyptian. The Egyptians speak, the Hebrews speak with the tone when it's just soulful. Thank you. That's how they speak. His step is firmly and commanding. His emotions self-poised and dignified. He seems 3 or 4 years older than Remeses, but the likeness of the features of the entire presence of the stranger recalled my royal friend so forcibly to my mind on the occasion of which I speak that I say mentally, where the Prince Remeses a Hebrew, or were this Hebrew and Egyptian? Oh man, this is the most. This is the Holy Spirit moving to Sesostris. He like, holy mother, this guy, this is. He looked just like Remeses. Was or is Remeses a Hebrew, or this Hebrew is an Egyptian? Because he could not believe it. And then he apologized to the mother. He's written to his mother. He said, I should not take them cousins, if not brothers. He said, if those guys are not cousins, they are brothers. Pardon me, dear mother, for thus speaking of royal personage, but I only make use of the language to express to you how wonderful in every way, save in the color of hair and eyes, is the resemblance of this man to the prince. He said, Mom, I'm sorry that I compared this man, a slave, to the prince, but he's just amazing. and everywhere except for the color of their hair. They look alike. And then Sesostris come to me, he said, I did but a common duty to a fellow being, was my reply. But why did you address me in Syriac? Because the guy that looked like Remeses, he didn't talk to him as he didn't use the Egyptian language. He used Syriac language. He told him this in Syriac. And he said, why did you speak to me in Syriac? He said, are you not a Syrian merchant? He asked, looking at me more closely after I had spoken. I am from Tyre, I answered. You are a Hebrew? Yes, was his reply, casting down his eye and moving past me towards the temple. Stay one moment, I said. He turned and regarded me with a look of surprise, just such as one of the Hebrew women, Miriam or Mariam, to whom also, dear brother, he bore a very striking resemblance. He said, not only this guy looked just like Remeses, when you look at Miriam, put a wig on this guy, cut off his beard, this is Miriam. He looked exactly like Miriam. And may I inquire, without offense, why I see a Hebrew in the service of religion? So he take him in Syriac. So Sesostris says, like, why did you address me in Syriac? He said, well, you're a Tyre merchant, right? You dress like a merchant, okay? Because, you know, Sesostris, he doesn't like to dress like a prince and walk around. He barely can get to places, especially with Luxuria and Syria and all the other professional bakers. They want princes. They will keep running after him and stuff. So he dressed like a merchant and stuff like that. So, and he said, well, you're Tyrian merchant. So the so-called Tyrian or Phoenician, they speak Syriac. And then he like, okay. And then he kindly asked, and the guy took the wall and then he passed Sesostris. He's about to go on his way. And Sesostris said, can you stop for a moment? Can I talk to you? And then he turned around and then he put his head down. He said, why are you, a Italian merchant, have such an interest in Hebrew? We Hebrew people are the lowest here. People don't want to talk to us. I would suggest you be on your way, Your Highness. And then he said, forgive me to ask. I don't want to offend you, but you are a Hebrew, right? He said, yes, but I don't want to offend you. But why are you a service in the temple? Why are you a priest? Is that allowed? And this is his answer. When we are only degraded slaves and brick and clay workers, and worship not the gods of Egypt, he answered. This is scholarly. I now understand why the Mosai say he will be your prophet, you will be the Mosai. This man is scholarly. He academically answered this question without answering this directly. He said, this thing is buffering. Is that what that is? Am I buffering? I can't see anything, brothers, because the thing is not moving. I'm watching on my phone. Hopefully this thing even recorded. I believe I put it too early. Okay, it's good to go. He said, you're a Hebrew, right? Why you, I don't want to offend you, but why is a Hebrew is a priest? Why is a Hebrew is working in the temple as a religion fellow? And he looked at him. He didn't even look at him. He looked away. He said, when we are only degraded slaves and brick and clay workers and worship not the gods of Egypt. Say the only time we are like, you say, when we are only degraded slaves and brick and clay workers and worship not the God of Egypt, he answered interrogatively and imagine addicted and haughty like any slave. So he said, technically says, you think the Hebrews are only good for break making and slaves and worshiping idols? We have many talents. We can practically do anything that we please. We are super smart people. But because they reduce us to break makings and clay, y'all think all of us are dumb. Because they reduced us to a bunch of babbling rappers. Gang, you think all of us are super dumb. Because they give us low jobs. Because they give all women, well, not because you're seeing all women online talking all ghettos and stuff and twerking and stuff. You think all of us is like that. Because you see our people always fighting and all that. Well, not our people, a bunch of them are not our people. You think that's the only thing we are capable of. You think because we are Hebrew, a Hebrew is born to be a dumbass. That's how it is. That's how they, like, and technically tell him, okay? You have expressed my motive, I reply. If you are proceeding along the avenue of sphinxes, I will accompany you, as I am merely loitering. Describe this word, loitering, okay? Will you be seen walking with the Hebrew, my lord, prince? He said significantly. You know my rank then. Your language. Oh man, this is, brethren, this is a prime example how our people are super smart. They don't need to know who you are. Just by talking to them, they can read you like a book. Like I told you, I'm not bragging and stuff. The most I give me an ability to talk to people. The moment that person start talking, I can see who you are. And most likely, I can see how you do, how you are in life, how you behave yourself, what kind of person you are. And a lot of people that I talk to them, and I see exactly what they are, especially the narcissists. I can tell the moment they start talking, I'm like, not for me. The word loitering means just hanging around and doing nothing. So she said, well, he said, if you allow me, I'm just mainly look around. You're going to the temple, right? Can I walk with you so I can go to the temple? We'll have a little talk. So that guy looked at him and said, is that what you want? Do you really want to be seen walking with a Hebrew, my lord prince? And then he started, was like, you know my rank? You see, this guy, Sesostris, he been walking all over the city. Nobody can tell. He talked to people. They thought he is a tyrant merchant. The moment he talked to this guy, he already deduced that he's not one of those typical merchants. Okay, I believe the beloved brother Big Judah just uploaded a video. I think I got the notification. Once we're done here, we'll watch the video. The moment the guy opened his mouth, he literally know who this guy is and what his rank is. Your language betrays you. Merchants do not speak as you do. Besides, the signet of Prince Remeses on your hand designated your rank. I have moreover heard you described by one who will never forget that the first words of kindness he ever received, save from his kinsfolk, fell upon his heel from your lips, O Prince of Tyre. All praises to the Most High. He told him, merchant don't talk like you. Because the merchant brothers, it's just, he said educated people, and it's, man, it's just like, there's no difference. Hood Negroes and the educated Negroes don't talk the same way. A hood Negro is, they will just and say things like that, and you already, okay, this guy is a hood Negro. Like a well-polished, a well-rounded Negro, when that person start talking to you, you know this guy is different from that guy. They are the same people, but they are different. They are different. So he said, besides this, I see in your hand you had the signet of Remeses. And so your rank, you are a prince. And not only you're a prince, he said you are the prince of Tyre. And he said your name is Sesostris. He said, I cannot forget who you were because of the kind stuff that you did. He said, what kind stuff? He said, there is an old man named Ben Isaac that you did so kind to him, that you helped. He's like, Ben Isaac? It's like, wait a minute. How is the boy Israel? He said, Israel is good. He said, you know Ben Isaac? He said, I know him. He said, is that thing known to all the Egyptian? He said, to all the Hebrew? He said, no, not all of us knew this. For those of you, remember Ben Isaac? He said, not all of us, a few of us. Remember, the scumbag Egyptian, the taskmaster that take like over the $150,000. He didn't report that, brothers. He reported somewhat that guy is dead. He doesn't report it like, hey man, I was working and then that prince give me $150,000 to let the Hebrew go. He just take this money, go to the to his boss and slap and spit on his face and say, I quit. And then he just move away. That's why it's not known to the Egyptians, but to the Hebrews, this thing is going all over. So he said, oh, okay, well, that's, brothers, this is the Most High telling you in life, when you do something good, when you really help somebody with your heart, this goodness is going to follow you everywhere until you go to the grave. Likewise, if you are a massive scumbag, you're out there abusing people, this thing going to follow you until you die. So he said, let's walk. Let us walk. Let us go over there and dialogues and stuff. And then excuse me. So he said, where's the boy? Where's Israel the boy? He said he's at Rahamses. Rahamses is a city. He says he's at Rahamses. Rahamses is the worst city. That's why they make you make the heaviest toil. He said he's at Rahamses. He said Rahamses and stuff like that. And then he said, I spoke to Miriam. Miriam also know the story of that goodness stuff. Miriam says this kid is his kinfolks, is his cousins. And he said, yes. He said, are you then familiar? Are you cousin or are you related to Miriam? He said, yes. Miriam is my sister. And then the light bulb coming in, he said, boom, he said, there you goes. There you goes. This guy is Miriam's sister because shave that guy beard, big beard, put it on his head as a wig. He is Miriam. He made the connection. He made the connection right then and there. He said, I got it. He said, Miriam the scribe? And he said, yes. And the service of Luxuria and Osiria, the two quote unquote princesses, the daughters of the priests. And say, yes, she's my sister. And he said, I would have said it. I answer, is your father living? He's in charge of the queen's flower garden and on. I know him, I answer. It is he who has spoken of you to me, as well as the aged Ben Isaac, young Israel, and Miriam. Therefore did I once recognize you when your polished words led me to see that you were in rank above chief pilots and governors of Hali. Now he make the connection. Not only Miriam is that dude brother, but Amram, the chief gardener, is their fathers. The plot start taking, man. Stood like, yo, impressive, impressive. Keep on talking. Will you reply my inquiry? For as we know each other's friends, we need not now discuss wholly as strangers. How came you, being a Hebrew, to become a priest? Do not you Hebrews worship the one infinite maker and upholder of worlds? So he said, now that we make a connection, we make a friendly connection. I know Miriam, I know Amram. You, Miriam, is your sister. Amram is your father. I know Ben Isaac. I know Israel. They are your cousin. They are your people. Somewhere we have something established. Now, can we talk? My question was, if you want to answer, why are you a priest in this temple? Isn't you Hebrew people worship that one infinite God? So why are you temple? Or why are you a priest? Brothers, this is very important. This is very, you will see where the Mosai checkmate people. This is very important. He said, you and your people, you worship that one God, but yet you're a priest and this temple. Technically say, but yeah, you're worshiping idols. So what's up with that? There and this guy told him there are a few who return unmixed with superstition. Like, damn, man. That's a scholar talk. I understand why the Mosai choose this guy to talk to the people. He said, there's a few who retain unmixed with superstition and idol worship, the knowledge of the one God of our ancestors, Abraham, Jacob, and Joseph. But this knowledge is confined chiefly to the descent of one man, Levi, and only do a few of these. The residue are little better than the Egyptians. Checkmate. He just told him straight up. There's a few of us that know the true knowledge of the heavenly power, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. There's only one man that was consecrated to do this duty. His name was Levi. And this knowledge is confined within him and his children. Not even him and all of them, a few of them. The rest is just as Egyptian. It's a few of us, but majority, he said 99.99% is just garbage. It's just they just Egyptian. They're just Hebrew that worship Egyptians. That's what he said. He said, but some of us, we technically told him, listen, he will tell you exactly. He said, listen, man, I just work here. I don't worship things. I just work here. Art thou the family of this Levi? I asked. I am. We are more given to study than our brethren and seek knowledge and wisdom. When I read this, boom, giant light bulb. I'm like, you know what? This is one of the thing when I read this, and I'm like, okay, if Aaron said it, well, he'll ask for all the stuff. If this dude can say this, I need all the books in the Vatican. I'm ready to dedicate my life to study all of them till the day I die and bring the knowledge to the people. I'm just hungry for wisdom. And the guy, Sesostri said, this Levi fellow, you you know him? Is it your great grandfather? He said, yes. I am from this tribe. He said, we Levites, we're supposed to study. This is our sole duty to the Most High, perform his work, study, and bring out wisdom. And there's wisdom in all things, brothers, on all things. Okay? Oh, give me some. Yeah, there you go. I am. We are more given to study than our brethren. He said, technically, he told them all the 12 tribes each have a specific duty. As we know, the Levites, priests, and study and stuff like that. The Gadites or the warrior class, those are the guys that you sent to kicking ass and taking name. They are the elite fighters and they are the protectors. When there is war coming, you call those guys. When you about to take somebody down there, you can take a commando of Gadites, and they will kick and taking name elite. They're like the guy. If you want to assassinate somebody, just send them. You won't even know what happened. There's a story of the story of Samson, right? Samson was a Gadite, so he was like the strongest dude. He was like that judge that didn't play. Samson kicking ass and taking name, and then or the boatman. Then the Danites, they are the boatmen, they are the navigators. The Danites are the, well, technically they can go anywhere and any places on this planet because they have the ability to navigate very well. And I believe there's the Naphthalite of fast, and I haven't get all of them yet. The Judites or the kings and the Issacharites, something like that. There's some, one of them is the builders. They build all the architectures. They are the builders. They build everything. So in the book of what they call this thing again, the Throne of David, they explain stuff like that. So all right. Hence, it is that some of our tribe are taken from the labor of the field to serve the priests, to off the field to serve the priests. We already writers. Listen this. They said, we already writers, skillful with the stylus and the coloring pencil, and our lot is preferable to the others who are more ignorant. Hence, you behold me a servitor in one Egyptian temple. So he answered the question. He said, the reason why you see me being a priest, it's because those people picked the Levite. Remember in the book of Joshua, when everybody went to serve, I think Issachar is astrologers. Yeah, they know the skies and they can navigate in and stuff like that. We will have a whole podcast on this. He said the reason Samson is from the tribe of Dan. Yes, I was a Danite. All right. Well, then, if that, thank you for the correction. I thought it was a Gadite. Sometimes I mix them, the Danites and the Gadites. So, he said the reason why, and again, in the book of Joshua, it says the Levite did not went and start working, and now they give you the reason why the Levite could not go and serve in the heavy toil. He said they understand the Levites. The name Levite means join unto me. That means the Most High said the Levites are the closer, the people that are closer to him. That means it's not like, oh, they are better than everybody. No, they are like a interceptor. They're like the people, like if you want to speak directly to the Most High, you go to them in a way. So he said the reason why those people go in the toil in the field, they grab Levites all over because the Levites are born, they are skillful, they can write pretty well, they study well, and then they are more, you want them to be in the temple because they are connected to the higher power. That's why they have the Levites in the temple, because they know for a fact if they are here, they can do the job better than they are. He said that is why they brought us here, because we are very skillful and we have a special connection. So that's why he is a priest. Besides that, they would have never put a Hebrew in there. So he understands this. He said that's why you see me serving in an Egyptian temple. We're already 1 hour in. Woo! Okay, all right, we're good. 1 hour is good. As thou long been in this service, I ask, as we stop and the shade of the pyramidation of obelisk and form of the temple porch from a child so early, then thou hast not borne the toils of thy people. This is the story of this guy. He said, Sesostris asked him, then how long you've been a priest, how long you've been serving in the temple? He said, ever since I was a child. He said, ever since you were a child? He said, yeah. So you didn't serve heavy burden and and uh and the slavery. He said, no. So then what happened then? He said, I was discovered upon the banks of the Nile, and my 4th year near the island of Woda, weeping bitterly, for I had seen my mother commit my infant brother to a basket and launch it upon the river, and observing it borne down by the current, young as I so felt all its danger that as well as I could along the shore, crying piteously. When the priest who has made known to me the incident, seeing me, took pity upon me, and noticing that I was a Hebrew child, led me away, pacifying me by saying that I should see my brother. This is the story of this guy. He said, when I was a little boy, I saw my mother took my brother and put it on a little ark and throw it in the river. I was worried. I was crying. I was chasing my brother in the river. The current was so heavy. The current took my brother, and I didn't see that what happened to him. So I was crying. I was alone. And then there was a high priest that was working there. He saw me. And then he saw what happened. And then he talked to me. And then he took me in. He said, I'm going to raise you as my son. So this priest taught me everything in the temple. And then he said, one day I shall see my brother. From that time, I have been an inmate to the temple, for my mother, seeing him take me away, follow, as he promised he would rear me as his own son, and I shall see her weekly. So before he took him to the house, and then he went, he told the mother, because they were killing children, man. They were at that time they were murdering little boys. So this priest has compassion upon this fellow. He told the mother, I will take this boy. I will adopt him. I will raise him. He will see you weekly, but he cannot stay in this house. We both know what is going to happen to him. A little 3 years old, 4 year old boy, he doesn't understand. He saw his mother through his brother, this little baby brother, and nothing. And then he saw they are killing kids. He doesn't understand this. This is trauma there. And you will understand why later on all those things happen with Aaron. Oh, all right. Spoiler alerts again. She yielded me up to him with reluctant gladness. For my Lord Prince, in that day the children of Hebrew parents were not safe, even at home, and addicted having been published, commanding all male infants to be strangled or drowned. Mothers held their children by a slight tenure, and seeing that the protection of a priest would ensure my safety and spare me the toils to which the little ones of our nation were early condemned, my parents readily acquiesced in the wishes of the priest. Was thy infant brother lost? I asked with interest. Yes, without doubt. Like hundreds of other innocents, he perished. Might be might he not have been saved by some of the compassionate as your friendly priests? Who will dare to save a child from the king's edict of death? Not one, unless it has been the king's daughter. All his subjects tremble at his power. So he said, when I saw this, and the priest that was there, brothers, when they make this declaration, brothers, not everybody was agreeing with what the Pharaoh was doing in Egypt. Not all the Egyptians agree with them. They say those are little children. You cannot kill them like that. Plus, they are Hebrew. They are a bunch of harmless people. But remember, those Egyptians that came in, they weren't the Phoenician Egyptians. They were the hardcore mofos. They order, Amensi the first ordered the wise women to drown the baby and strangle them when they are born. He said, when you are taking this kid out, while you are taking it, strangle it, and then say, oh my God, what happened? Your baby is born dead. The midwives could not do this, brothers. And then they went and tell the Hebrews. They say, we can't do. Our job is to give life, and you turning us. You trying to. They told the Pharaoh should have said, we can't do this. We can do well, except if they were Margaret Sanger or Singer. They say we can do this. So not all of the Egyptians did agree. That is why who's this? Who's outside? That is why the people, the priest saw this boy, and then he had compassion. He know this boy was a little Hebrew boy. He talked to the mother. He said, don't worry, because he's a Hebrew boy, they're going to kill him. Let me take him and I will raise him. And I will raise him, and then he will see you every week. And then he took the little boy in. And then Sesostris asked him, he said, your brother, the one that they put in the ark, they throw in the sea, is he dead? He said, without a doubt. He said, do you think anybody could have saved him? He said, who would dare come up and do something like that? Well, unless if the person is the king's daughter. Prophecy. Give me this. Excuse me. And Sesostris said, I have heard of that. I have heard. He said, I have heard this story and stuff. And then the priest told him, my office is not that far. My office is not that of a priest. He said, my office is not that of a priest, though it is priestly. I write books of papyrus for the dead. I cast images and gold of the young calf Apis, and I interpret hieroglyphics, make copies of the tables of rituals, and keep a list of the sacred scroll. I also study foreign tongues and transcribe from their books the wisest code and most solemn form of worship. There's a reason why they have the Levites in there, because those people, they could not do those work by themselves. He said, I am not a priest, yet my duty is priestly. This is what I do. I write books on papyrus for the dead. So he take care of the funerals, stuff like that. And then he wrote books and things. I cast image and gold of the young calf Apis. So he work in a factory. He making young calf, young bull. He make the little god Apis. Now you understand, when the brother was in the desert, when the people threatened him to make him gods, he told them no. They said, make us God or we can kill you, because we know you can make them. That was your job. And they threatened to kill him, and he made them gods. Now you understand, that was one of his work. That's what he used to make back then. He was working in a factory making those things. That's why they go straight to him and they tell him, you made us. What is it, Yaya? Mommy? What, didn't you see mommy? He's not in the room? Did you check the room? Did you check outside? Okay. So now you understand why they were threatening him to threaten the beloved brother to make a god for them, because that's what he was doing back then. He said, I interpret hieroglyphics. So he was a translator. He made copies of the tables of rituals and keep a list of sacred scrolls. That's what he does. I also study foreign tongues. So he studied a bunch of other languages and transcribed from the books the wisest codes and most solemn form of worships. He was a scholarly man. Yours is an office of trust and honor, I said. It is. Through the favor of the venerable priest, who is my benefactor, that to whom I am a son. He answered, if you will now enter the temple with me, if you will now enter the temple with me, I will show you the casting room of sacred images, for my duty is there during the next 4 hours. Okay, he said, it is through favor of the venerable. Say, the reason why I'm doing this thing, the reason why I'm alive, it is through the favor of that old man that find me. He said, walk with me. Let me show you where I do my job and stuff like that. Give me a second. It's too quiet out there. Give me a second. Let me go check on the kids. Give me a second. I cannot hear. I had reason to worry. Some bull going on out there involving other kids. Now they are looking for that. Those kids are throwing trash in the floats. It's just crazy, man. Yeah, I knew there was a reason. It was way too quiet, you know. It was way too quiet. Something going on out there. It's like people arguing. Oh boy. Anyway. Hmm. All right. So now he said, "Come, I will show you what I do for a living." What's going on in there? I take the Kurdish Hebrew and ascending the steps of the portico, enter the vestibule of the temple. By a side corridor, we reach a small court lined with alabastron, and and which three priests were pacing up and down, reading and meditating. So he's walking to go see what's going on, where he's where what this fellow do for a living. Not being noticed at all by them, I was conducted by a stately Hebrew into a chamber, which was the vestibule. Oh, wait, hang on. Yeah, was we descend 8 steps that led to a large brazen door and 2 leaves. This was secured by a small, okay, description. Numerous workmen were busy about heated furnaces, some blowing the fire beneath crucible, melting slow and stuff like that. So he brought him to a small factory. He brought him to a small factory where they make the gods, where they make the calf, apis or apis, apis. He brought them. He brought him to that factory where they make the gods, and he said, "This, say my guy, is the casting chamber of the temple. That's where the cast." Thank you, sister. Apis or apis, APIS. That's the God that pissed off the Most High. That's the God when Moses came down and then they saw them worshiping Apis. This is the idol they were casting and make for the Egyptian, and gold. It's mine over to see. The mixing, he said, my job, that's what this dude told him. He said, my job is it's mine to mixing of gold with the proper alloy, and I have a scribe who record the results. Here you see is a life-size image of Apis when he was a calf. So they made this, brother, understand this. To make a small bull and gold, brothers, take a lot of gold to do this. To make a small bull out of gold, brothers, he took a lot of gold. So they have to make it exactly the size when the bull was a little calf. It is for the temple of Bubastis of the Delta. There you behold a molded for one larger size order for the shrine of Ozymandias. So this small one for a temple of Bubastis. Now they are making a cow, like a bull, to make a giant bull made out of gold. It take a lot of gold to do this. Do you never cast any figures of the size of Apis? I ask, looking about the me and amazement of this extraordinary scene. Not of gold, he answered. Okay, so he answered, not of gold. Conduct me through the vast room, which fourscore men were at work. Those are casts of bronze, not here, but at a temple near the pyramid Dendara. The gods of this temple are in great repute throughout all Egypt. They are consecrated here, but before they are sent away, which ancient rites are known only to the priesthood of the shrine. Come with me into this side of apartment. He said, have you ever made a bull, a giant bull, like in there in gold? He said, no, not in gold. We do make them in bronze, then we overlay them with gold. But the little small calf are pure gold. Brothers, understand this. To make a little cow, a little bull, a calf of gold, you will need a lot of gold. That is why when they were in the desert, the people were giving their earrings, the chain, all the gold they were receiving from the Egyptian. That's why they were melted. And I believe one of the commandment, one of the law forbid them to wear gold. Not like, oh, gold is evil and all that. They don't want them to repeat this stuff. That's not like what that mean. Oh, don't wear gold. Gold is evil. It's because the scumbag back then, the two-third, took the gold. They made a god out of it. Yeah. So they made them out of they were jewelry. That has nothing to do with jewelry. Our women were jewelry. You read the book of the throne of David, man. When Abbasis come to the land, he saw the women are beautifully wear jewelry. As long as you're not using this gold to make God and stuff like that and worship them and all that crap. They had a lot of gold, brothers. A lot of gold. And then he said, come to my apartment. I following him through my apartment, mean to the room, a chamber, stuff like that. I follow him through a passage having double doors of brass and farmers having a roof full of vases, each of which contain a quantity of jewelry, consisting of rings for the fingers and thumbs, earrings, bracelet, flower holders, and gold necklace and signet of all gold. So not only the brother made gold, he made all kind of jewelry. He was a jewelry maker. This brother is he transcribed, he wrote things down. Our people are multitaskers. The reason why you see that they only limited us to certain things, brothers, we are multitasking. We can do pretty much anything. Some brothers can speak 4 or 5 languages, make beats, write movies, and stuff like that. But those people, other people that are not us, they can only do one. And they can do that for the rest of their life. They cannot do anything else. Our people, we can do everything and everything in between. All around. Left, right, up and down, and all around. That's what he told him. He would not only he made those things, he writes, made gods and stuff like that. He was a jewelry maker. He was a vase maker. So pot maker. He molded the pots, the clay and stuff like that. Multitasking. That is why they have to keep you in one state, the state of ignorance. If you know your true potential, you know your true skills, will be too much. They are sent here from various temples and the different gnomes, out of which are melted them. We cast image of the size demanded. So it was a factory. That's why they were making those things for the temple and stuff like that. So he showed him around and things like that. And then he asked him, does your temple derive a revenue from all of this? I asked the Hebrew. So do they make money of all of those things? There is a tithe. There is a tithe retaining from all the gold that is sent hither for the expense of the temple. He answered. He said, is all those things made for free? He said, there's a tithe. There's a little money that we took that keep the temple going of all of those gold. Okay, so okay, let me see one. Okay, we got 2 more pages. Okay, let's go to the next. We are now turned aside to see men grinding to powder an old image of Apis, of solid gold of Ophir. Okay, the image had been in the hands of the Ethiopian. This is very important, brothers. Okay, we now the image had been in the hand of the Ethiopian, and being recaptured was sent here to be grounded to dust, that it was regarded as a curse until these were done. This process is affected by the free use of nature. Free use. Talking about crack here. Anyway, free use of natron, and is an art known only to the Egyptians. The dust is then washed in consecrated water and taste. I am told. Oh, it's 10 o'clock. Well, do I have something to do at 10? Give me a second. It's 10 o'clock. Okay, now I'm good. 10. Let's keep on trucking. Brothers, what happened here? He saw in that factory there's a bull, a cow. They are grinding it. They are destroying it. And then when he asked, is that why you guys are destroying this? And then he said, well, the reason why you do this, the Ethiopian had it. They put their freaking hand on it. So since they put their hands on it, it is a curse. So they have to grind it, and then they have to purify it and remake it again. That was the belief. We next come to a flight of stairs which led to a paved hall surrounded by columns, and thence a door led into a small garden where 3 majestic palms tower high above the column and closed and stuff. So they go down there, and then they go down and then to a terrace, to open place. It was now near the close day, and I began to thank him for his courtesy when he said, do not leave now, O prince. This is my apartment, and the one opposite is that of the aged priest, my benefactor. Enter, and let me have water for thy feet and hands, and place before thee some refreshment. For it is a long walk back to the palace where thou art sojourned. Brothers, formality and protocol. Back then, brothers, it is quote unquote an unspoken law when you have a guest. If this guest put his feet in the door of your house, automatically this guest is under your protection. You cannot let this guest go back home without a full belly. You cannot let this guest go back home with his feet dirty. You have to give him water to wash his feet, have your maids or your slave wash his feet, prepare dinner. The first thing when a guest comes to your house, the first thing you offer him is peace and food. That is why in Genesis 18, the moment Abraham saw those 3 men coming to him, he quickly told his wife Sarah or Sarai, quickly, women, go get some finest and best kids, baby goats, kill them, again, goats, and cook them, make a fine cakes and stuff like that. You there, go get water, give them, and wash their feet. Remember, when the angel came to visit Abraham in the book of the Apocalypse of Abraham, the angels Gabriel, Michael, and Gabriel, Raphael, and Michael was coming. They told, when the Mosai give them order, brothers, they actually questioned the Mosai. I was surprised. They told the Mosai, but Mosai, we are angels. We don't eat. You say this ain't going to give us food. How are we going to eat it? The Mosai said, don't worry. Go in there, just take the food, put it in your mouth, and then it will just disappear. I was laughing so hard. Like, yo, the angel said, how could we eat? He's going to know we are angels. Because when we touch the food, we are angels. We are pure living being. So the Mosai said, don't worry, just take the food, put it, act like you are eating. Just act like you're eating. Everything will be good. So they offer them food and stuff like that. Remember then again, when those same angels went to see Lot, when they were inside Lot's house, and those guys tried to break in there, and then they want to the angels. They're like, bring them Negroes out there. We're about to bust them open. We are cowboys here, god dang it. We are about to ride in that old dirt road. Bring those dudes out there. They look fine, especially that one in the middle. Bring them. Let them bend over, grab their knees, and spread those cheeks. They're about to bust those angels. And Lot said, my friend, my people, my brothers and sisters, don't do this thing here. Come on, man. Those people are not like, they are guests in my house, man. Look, I have two beautiful daughters here. They have not known, man. Their oven has never been busted before. You guys can take them and do whatever the hell you want to them, but leave my guests alone. They're like, yo, Lot, man, your guests, Negro, your daughters, get them out. They push their daughters over. They say, we want to bust those 2-3 guys over there. Those guys, those are the guys we need. And Lot would not want to give them because they were under his protection. Lot fought with them. He closed the door. He could not give them away because they were his guests. That was a formality and a protocol. When a guest come to your house, this person is under your protection, and you should give this person food or money or something before that person go away. Now with the there's a phone ringing here. Okay, it's outside, but so. Since such this was about to go, so the brother said, please, brother, please, let us, this house that you're looking over there, this is the house of the old man that raised me from death. And this is my house. Come, please, let me give you something to marry your heart. And let me have the people washing your feet and stuff like that. I accept the invitation and enter a cool porch. So he accepted. And then some of the slave come with 3 fine napkins, which is like, like towels. They make food and stuff like that. Latin fruit, wheated bread, fish were laid before me. The Hebrew stood while I partook, detained to eat with me, saying, again, let me see, I gotta keep checking if I'm not bleeding, but I'm not. I had this mild cold. So sometime when it's really, Florida, and it's like the AC too cold in there, busted my nose and stuff like that. Eating with me, saying his nation never, listen, brothers. He said his nation, he was eating with him. He said his nation never broke bread with any but their own people, adding that the Egyptians regarding it as infamy to sit down with us. So the Egyptians never eat with them. They never eat with them. Did you know back in slavery, brothers, the slave could not eat what the masters eat? Even after the masters have a party, they eat all the food. There are more food left than the food that they eat. The slave have to take all those food and throw it to the pigs or burn them. You are not allowed to eat what I eat. In Haiti, back in the 1800s, there is a soup they call the pumpkin soup or soup jumeau. It's a luxury soup. If they did catch you, one of the slaves back then, eating one of these soup, they would have killed you because it was a luxury thing. So when the Haitian Revolution started, they kicked all those French out and they beat them. And then it was a national thing that every January 1st, every New Year, you eat pumpkin soup, which is woo, beautiful and good and tasty. I'm gonna have to ask the old lady. Well, my wife doesn't know how to do this, but my mom, I'm gonna ask that old lady to do this. So pumpkin soup is a luxury soup, just like in China. Shark fin soup is luxurious. Okay, so you could not eat those things. If you do eat this, if they catch you, the slave as they have their own diet. Their diet were a giant slab of lard, molasses. I believe the beloved sister Lisa Cabrera are going to that. Molasses, slabs, and water. I guess that's it. And pork skin. Not even there's no such thing as a good part of the pork. The pork intestine, I think they call it chitlin or the skin or stuff like that. Pig intestines, yeah, chitlin, the organs, the worst part of the stuff. They catch you eating some stuff, and they thought chicken was bad too, and then they were let our people eat a bunch of chicken. That's one of the reason they were saved because of the chicken. Well, you got to be really healthy to eat the chicken. Yeah, pig feet and stuff like that. That is why the same thing was going on back then. As we know, brothers, can somebody type the Hebrew diet back then? What was the Hebrew diet? Anybody remember in the book? If you don't, that's fine. We'll tell you the Hebrew diet, brothers. Yeah, pumpkin and coconut milk. That thing is so good. Yeah, I don't eat none of those horrible food. I stopped eating pork years ago. I started drinking soda in 2010. Thank you, sister or brother Lucky Gillipsy. Garlic, leek, and onions and stuff, and rotten fish and crabs, all the stuff that are forbidden, and vultures and all the dead animals, because all those things, brothers, that are said not to eat in the book of Leviticus, because those are the diet they were forcing upon them, and there was those things that were available to them. That's why they could not eat those things, because that's what it was. All right. Yeah, bottom feeders. Thank you. So they could not eat with the Hebrew. So, and Sesostri said, "I have no prejudice. I have no such prejudice." And he smiled, said, "I have no such prejudice." And then when I had eaten, he washed his hand and stuff like that. And then the Nubian slave came in and give them the food and things, and then wash his hand again. I said, "My meeting with you has been a source of great pleasure to me. I am deeply interested in your nation. As a Syrian, we are not far from a kindred origin. And as a foreigner, I have none of the feelings which are masters of Egyptians and Turton towards Hebrews." So he done eating and stuff like that. He said, "Listen, I have no such prejudice. As a Syrian, I feel for your people. I am very interested." When he says Syrian brothers, he meant a Shemite, or most likely a Hebrew. Most likely, in the further page down, you will understand this guy was a Hebrew, not a Hebrew Israelite or Issacharite, Isaac, from the line of Isaac, most likely from one of the other brothers, from Abraham. And he said Abraham was a Syrian too. A Syrian is just a name. Okay, for instance, people that was born in Florida, they call them Floridian, but collectively, those people as American. So there's some people who are born in Georgia, they know them as Georgian, but that doesn't mean, quote unquote, they are not American. So technically, this dude was a Georgian that came in Florida. He is an American, so to speak. Californian, Texans, all of those people, so to speak, they are the same people, so to speak. Just like all the tribes, you got Benjamites, Levites, you got Judites, and all of that. They have like different stuff, but they are all Israelites. The same people, but different clan tribes and all that stuff. I have witnessed the working of the deep prejudice in a varied of ways, and cannot but wonder at it. From all I can learn of your history, you have never been at war with them, nor wronged them. We are unfortunate. You said, "I see how the Egyptians are treating you, but from what I understand, you guys never did them any wrong. You never go to war with those people. But why they are treating you like this?" He said, "We are unfortunate." Baby, please, the kids are way too loud. "We are unfortunate, unharming, weak, and the greater ever oppress the helpless," he answered. "Do you feel no resentment? The bondage of the 170 years had graven the linings of patience deep in our hearts. Forbearance has become a second nature to the Hebrew. But my Lord Prince, I feel that it will not always be." He added, "The time cannot be far off when Egypt for our own safety will give us our liberty and the privileges of citizen. We are not a race of bound men like Nubians' children. We are once free. Our fathers were princes in Syria, and was not Joseph the ruler of Egypt for 61 years during the long reign of Pharaoh Apophis? Not long after the Theban dynasty, which now rules the two Egypt, assumed the double crown, did not our degradation begin? He said here, we've been in this bondage for over 170 years. We are broken. Forbearance become a second nature to the Hebrews. We lost hope. We are weak. We are broken people. But my good Princess Sisters, this will not be forever. We are not born slaves like the Nubians. One day, for Egypt's sake, we will be free. Was it not Joseph, the Hebrew, that ruled Egypt for 61 years under the Pharaoh Apophis? Our people start degrading once the Theban Egyptians came in with the dynasty. That's when our trouble started. But fear not, sisters. I believe one day our God will deliver us. Doubtless, a change in your condition must be for a long place. I said, there must be leaders among you. Not all the suffering of oppression has destroyed the princely air among all your people. But one Hebrew is trained to war or knows the use of any sort of weapon for 3 generations. We have been laboring patiently unharmed people. If there and there one rise above the masses, is it by accident or favor from interest or the part of whom employs us? I have said that she daily family from I have sprang is skilled in letters and art, and is ambitious in the learning of the Egyptians, and becoming scribe and copyist to the priests. He said, Sesostri said, but doubtless there must be some of the warrior in you. So you mean to tell me some of your people cannot fight? He said, Princess Ostrus, we've been enslaved here for 3 generations. All we know is work. We've been here for 400 years. All we know is hatred, shooting each other, babbling, all the negative stuff. Our people don't know any, well, some do, but most of us, we don't know anything about the art of war. We don't know anything about this. We don't know how to attack people, but we know how to get in the car and drive by and stuff like that, to shoot somebody in the middle of the street. We don't know how to tactically attack people. He said, we are broken. If any little rebellion happens, it's by accident or for some favor. And all my family being study, they are copies and writers, and they don't really know how to fight. Others among us of the sons of Dan are skillful boatmen. So, okay, the Danites are skillful boatmen. The Danites are navigators, according to this book. The Levites are the priestly, the Danites. Others among us of the sons of Dan are skillful boatmen. Others are builders, okay, while others prefer the culture of the field. Now, he's giving the tribe and the skills now. So, okay, the Danites are the boatmen, the navigators, okay? Others are builders. I'm not quite sure who are the builders, brothers, the architects, okay? While others prefer the culture of the field, okay? The guy, the guy that brought the food, the agriculture and stuff like that. Or the tending of flocks, the farmers, okay? We were 12 princes, brethren, in the ancient days, and the descendants of each are remarkable for some special skill. He said, we are descended from the 12 princes. Each of us have a very special skill, and we are very good at it. And the Egyptian taskmaster, having discerned this aptitude, distribute them to their work accordingly. There you go. There you go. He said, we are descended from 12 princely tribes. Each of those tribes has very specific skills. Now that the Egyptians know that if they want something to be done properly, if they want the pyramids to build properly, they want to take the guys that are the architect. If they want the books to be properly, they're going to take the Levites. If they want the boats to be built better, Egypt has an army or galleys. They do war on water all the time. They have to take the Danites. If they want to read the sky and stuff, they have to take the Issacharites, the astrologers. Everything they have to do, brothers, they go to the specific tribe and grab that person and then let this person be done. We are not all break makers, though 4/5 of the generation are reduced to that degrade toil. Every tribe or family who are not skillful in some art being driven into the field. Or late years, the Egyptian artificers have made such great outcries to the effect that the Hebrews were feeling the praise of their own workmen. You see what it said here? It said, we are not all break makers. Because they took most of us, they made us doing this degrading work. The Egyptians owners, like the employers, were in an outcry. They could not have people that were had the skills to make those things because they were taking them from the stuff and sending them doing hard work. And now when you make a dress, when they were going and Tyree and sell this dress, they're like, what the hell is this? This is not the same quality that I used to buy from you. Well, the Hebrew that used to make them, they send them doing bricks and clay and stuff like that. There was an outcry. That the chief governor of the Hebrews in Lower Egypt has, in order to preserve peace, sent thousands into the brick field who had never before encountered such heavy toil. The result is that 100 perish and that youth like Israel sick hourly under the unendurable suffering. So they were sending out thousands of our people in there, especially that little kids. That's why Israel, the youth almost perished. Have you no gods, no here to hear your prayers? I ask impulsively. I am up to do, dear mother, when my feelings are deeply moved. Have you no worship? I hear of no altar or temple. So he told them, you guys have any gods, man? Anybody? Do you guys even worship? I heard you guys don't have temple and you don't have any of that. This is it. This is the last page, okay? After this page, we're done. And this is what he said. A few among us have mysteries. A few among us have mysteries, such as the existence of one God, that he is a spirit, that all men are his offspring, and that we must be just in order to please him. But I must confess, O Prince, he said sadly, that we have very little knowledge, even the best among us, of the God in whose existence we profess to believe. He said, we do have a God, my prince. We do have a God, but tell you the truth, we have very too little known knowledge of this God, but we still hang on, but we don't have that much of knowledge of him because all the stuff were being destroyed. Uh, Let me see if the people say stuff. I can see the stuff, man. I can see it. It is easier to serve and trust to the visible gods of Egypt, and our people from the depths of their misery stretch forth their clay soiled hands to Osiris and Star in the image of Apis and cry, deliver us, O gods of Egypt, deliver us from our bondage. They cry to the invisible God of Abraham in vain, and they now cry in vain to the gods of the land also. Brothers, this is the same thing going on here. He said, Most of our people, it is so hard for them to worship an invisible God. They prefer to make a God with their own hand. They prefer to worship the God of Egypt. They will go in front of Osiris, Apis, and say, deliver me. Jesus, deliver me. Deliver my son. They shot him in the back. Jesus, Allah, deliver me. Jesus, they will rather see, because they can see Jesus. They can see the image of Jesus. They can walk around the cube. They can see Allah, that the Muhammad or whatever. It is easier for them to do this than to rely on the heart and uncover the heart and let the Holy Spirit in and pray and ask an invisible thing, because they cannot see it. It doesn't exist. They can see Jesus. They can see Apis. It is virtually impossible for us to teach them that thing. And they worship that Jesus, those Apis and Osiris, in vain, just like they worship the Most High in vain. They sink into bleak despair without any hope left in God, a nation of infidel slaves. Can this be a true picture? I said. Nearly. So, even I, O Prince, under the ever-present power of the religion to which the temple is unprayed, I form the inference of example from ignorance of the worship of the Hebrew God of Isaac. From the education of my life, I am half an Egyptian. The religion of Egypt appeals to senses. You see what he said here, brothers? Aaron tell him, although I am a Hebrew, by me walking in this temple and having their education, I'm half Egyptian. He said the religion of Egypt appeals to their senses. Christianity appeals to your senses. Catholicism appeals to your senses. It appealed to them. And these and most men are far stronger than imagination. And we Hebrews know nothing of a God, except that our fathers has one, but that he has deserted us and left us their miserable descent under the yoke of oppressors. He said it makes more sense for those people to be Christian, because their God abandoned them. They said, if our God do this to us, he abandoned us. We cannot see him anyway. You've been telling me about the Mosai, YAHAWAH, Yahweh stuff. I can see him, but I can see white Jesus. I can see the pastor. I can see the priest. When I go, I can see the wealth. I can see the houses. I can see the car, and I want that. Their God give it to them. I'm going to worship their God so he can give me things too. I'm going to build my own church, worshiping this God. He's going to bring his people in there. They're going to give tithes money, and I will be able to afford those things. I will not worship the Most High because I cannot see him. He abandoned me. I don't know anything about him, although I heard some people say, oh, we are the Israelites and stuff. I don't know this God. I cannot see him. I'm better off worship the God that I can see, that appeals to me. The God that said, come, whoever you are, however you are, come in. I don't care if you this, you do that, do everything. I will forgive all your sin. Go out there, rape, rob, murder everybody, and then go to your bed. While you're at the depth of your bed, you see two angels. As long as you say, I give my life to Jesus Christ, you will go to heaven. I will rather have that God, brothers and sisters. Logically speaking, I will have this God. Brothers, if I am a scumbag, I like to do scumbag stuff. I like to go out there and take advantage of people, women, children, and men. I like to abuse people. And I know that God that I'm going to serve, he said, don't worry. As long as you don't really mean it, as long as you apologize, I will worship this God. If I can smoke, drink, eat, cheat, kill, murder, rape, rob, I like doing those things. This God like that, I will worship him. He make more sense to me as long as I say I'm sorry. But that other God, He has rules. I cannot worship any other God. I cannot murder somebody because that person have a car. I want this car, man. That person got a house. I want that guy wife. I can't do this. I have to eat certain food. I have to behave this way. I like going to party and mess with, or I will worship the God that will allow me to do this. It make more sense. That is why they build their religion that makes sense. That's what he says here. Is it any wonder that the wisest of us turned to the gods of Egypt? He said there's no wonder. The smartest black men, the smartest Hebrew walking out there are Christian because it appealed to them. Smartest of us, the best of us, turn to these gods because they appeal. I can do whatever the hell I want. My God will forgive me. I will go to heaven. To hell with you. If the Egyptians can be happy and cherish hope and die in peace under their faith, let us also seek its shelter and let their gods be our gods. Such is the prevailing language and growing feeling of our people. All praises to the Most High, brothers and sisters. All praises to the Most High. Let me say this again. If the Egyptians, if the Gentiles can be happy and cherish hope and die in peace under their faith, Christianity, Catholicism, Islam, and all that, let us also seek its shelter and let their gods be our gods, such in prevailing language, growing feeling of our people. All praises to the Most High, all praises, brothers and sisters. We're done with these lessons, and we're going to move to lesson 21. Let us, whoops. Let's put this right here. That is why our people don't want to serve the Most High, because it is extremely difficult to serve the Most High. I told you before, I'm going to keep telling you again. Serving the Most High is not easy, brothers and sisters. Serving the Most High is probably the hardest thing you possibly going to do in your life. You're going to get beat on, spit on, raped, robbed, murdered. You cry for answer. You never get any answer. Why should I worship a God like this? I would prefer being Christian. If I want money, I got a gun. I go out there and get money. And my God will say, you did this because you didn't have money. This guy died because it was an accident. That's why our people do this. Serving the Most High, brothers, this is the hardest thing you could possibly ever done. Every single day, brothers, I keep telling you, I wake up, temptation. I woke up with fear of doing something that I wasn't supposed to do, especially when I'm on the live and say something and I cause his children to err. In Christianity, I would have never worried about cause the children of this God to make mistake. Serving the Most High is not easy because there's consequences. Yes, this is not for the fainted heart, brothers. Serving the Most High is not for the little dilly-dally lilies. You have to be a strong man, a strong woman, a strong spirit to serve the Most High. You cannot serve the Most High with a double heart. I'm a Hebrew Israelite. I'm serving the Most High. I have a double life, yet I'm in the church playing music, preaching and stuff, going to the church because I don't want my mom, my family to be mad at me. Yeah. Brothers, sisters, again, one of the main reasons that our people don't like to serve the Most High is because it's too hard, man. Serving the Most High is way too hard. You know why? Because once the Messiah put a curse on you, brothers, you can cry, you can laugh, you can run, you can hide. As long as this curse is upon you, he will not listen to you. One of the reasons why the Messiah abandoned the people, the tribe, and uh, and Egypt, because one, while they did sold Joseph, and they did a bunch of things. Our forefathers did a bunch of things. So the Messiah had to show up his power and have them being punished and stuff like that. The God of this world, brothers, is so easy to serve. I gotta tell you, brothers, when a man like me, I don't want to brag, but I have certain skills, certain things that I can do, and those things will bring me a lot of wealth. I'm intelligent enough to do things I can never get caught, and I will have a lot of wealth. But those things are against the Most High's will. Those things are not for the Most High. I can do certain things behind my family, my wife back, my children back, and I will get away with it. I can guarantee you 100% I will get away with it. No one will know. And I will still be a pastor preaching the good Lord Jesus Christ. I would get away with a lot of things, especially in the church. That if I had that church, brothers, that'd be the best church ever. TD Jakes can eat chocolate. TD Jakes and all those scumbag can eat hot cake. They can eat cakes. I would have had the best church. I would have get away with a lot of things. But this is not for the Most High. The Most High will not. You cannot get away with anything with the Most High, brother. That's how hard it is, brothers. You make one misstep with the Most High, you cut off your leg. That is why, brothers, I told you every day, man, I'm waking up, I fear the Most High. I told the Most High, if I'm going to say something that's going to cause your children to err, that's going to cause your children to fall off and go off, take my life. If I do something personally, have personal things upon me, I don't want to be that guy that will tell the people to go do something out there and then cause them to sin in your eyes. And he assured me, say, my son, this is your job, you just do it. Afterwards, I will judge. This is your exam. Afterwards, I will tell you if you pass, if you fail. And then if you pass this exam, you will be rewarded with a grade. And if you fail it, you will also be rewarded with a grade. Do my job, do it well, do it good. The way that I told you, don't add, don't take. And I will give you that bone. But if you go out there, you start switching things like slowly but surely, you're drifting off. You're putting my name in the back, and then you start raising either yourself or another above me. I will call you, I'll take you to the woods and put one behind your head. Or better yet, one between your eyes. The Most High doesn't play this, brothers. That is why it's so easy for the others to do all those things that we are seeing, and we cannot do this because we are not in this blessing. We have to keep up the faith, brothers. If I do or say anything, brothers, that can cause somebody to go astray, I always pray the Most High forgive me. Most of the time, some of the time, this person may not understand what I'm trying to say because I said it in code, or I said it this, that person took this literally and seen. And the Most High say, don't worry about this. He knows my heart. He knows the heart of the congregation. Brothers, sisters, it's not an easy job, but this job must be done. Thank you for all of your being here. Now you find out Brother Aaron, he was a priest since the age of 3. The Most High took him being a priest. He studied. He was a caster of images. He was working on a little factory. Okay, he made quote unquote gods. He doesn't worship them, he just made them. That is one of the main reasons they were threatening Aaron in the desert and tell him to make gods because they know what he could do. And then it is in there, brothers. We have a lot of things in here. Thank you for all of you that were there with us, brothers and sisters, Jews and Gentiles alike. Shalom, be at peace. All of you that are here, we are going to go and watch Big Judah video that he just uploaded. Okay. For those of you that just get here with us, please watch the video, A Letter to the Vatican. Okay, we just quote them. We want our books back. We want our hash back. Whether they will forbear, we don't know. Whatever happened, brothers and sisters, shalom, peace be with you. There'll be no Jacob's trouble. Fear the Most High. Give him all praises and all glory. The Most High is your first and your last priority. Never raise anything above the Most High. Never put anything in front of the Most High. When you don't know what you're doing, surrender to the Most High. Your children is not behaving, surrender to the Most High. Your husband, your wife, the boss, anything that happening, give it to the Most High. Tell the Most High, I don't know what I'm doing. Do this for me. Raise my children for me, Most High. I don't know what I'm doing. Use them. Do whatever you please with them. Brethren, by the power of the Most High vested in me, and he can take it anytime he feel like. I'm leaving all of you in peace. Be at peace, brothers and sisters. And I will see you tomorrow for prayer. And also we will move to letter 21 so we can finish with this book. Shalom. May the King reign forever.